And then there's also the character of Kendra Ray, who is of sort of a different generation than Nella and Hazel. And I mean, her experience is quite different. I mean, why was it important to you to have that generational aspect to the novel?
Yeah, I know for me, when I was working in publishing, I would often talk to other Black people who have been in spaces like that, where they've been the only one or they've been one of two. I know, again, talking about my dad again, but he also had a similar situation where he was the only Black person in, or one of very few in a mostly white company in the 90s. And to hear all of the things that he would tell me, I mean, clearly a lot has changed in the last 30 years, but also a lot hasn't changed, just as 30 years before that, and so on and so on. And so when I was writing this book, I first had Nella's perspective. I knew Kendra Ray and Diana would be a big part of why Nella decides to be at Wagner Books, because Kendra Ray, of course, was an editor at Wagner Books years before. But I also knew there was more to her story. The more I wrote, I was like, this can't be all sunshine. Like, there has to be more to it. Just as we often romanticize the past, and sometimes we have to in order to keep moving forward, you know. And so writing Kendra Ray's character for me was important because I wanted to, again, comment on how much has changed. Specifically, in this case, it's in the publishing industry, but also how much really hasn't changed, how there are these waves of Blackness is in, Blackness is cool, like everybody will spend their dollars on this fad or on this, you know, this Black writer, this kind of thing. But then, of course, when things are not going as well, suddenly we don't want to be involved with that anymore. And I was really interested in the ways in which Blackness is commodified, because that happens, I think, over and over and over again. We see it in pop culture, we see it in music, all of those things. And so it was just really fun and important for me to show those generational strands happening at the same time.